Talking now with Ferris State head coach Jeff Pierce. And Coach, your team on the road this week, tough environment at Grand Valley State. Talk a little bit about going into this matchup on the road in a tough situation.
Well, we're pretty excited about it, to be honest with you. You know, we know we're going into a very hostile environment, and they're going to have a great crowd, and they've really developed that, you know, over the years, and that's fine. You know, this is a football game that we're looking forward to. We've got something to prove. I think we've progressed as we've gone through the course of the football season so far to the point where we're ready for this matchup. You know, we're going to have to play very well to be successful, and that's what our plan is.
Grand Valley lost 3 games earlier in the year, but is back on track now. They've won their last 3 games. Talk a little bit about the Lakers and what you know about them.
Well, you know, they're human. You know, they took a couple on the chin earlier in the football season, but again, you know, there's a very high expectation in that football program, and those guys have bounced back, and they've got a little bit of an attitude going right now, so it would have been probably better to catch them earlier in the season than it is now, because they are back on their feet and going. But that just says that we're going to have our hands full, and we expect to have our hands full. We're not planning on going down there and, you know, not having a competitive football game. I just like where we are right now as a football team, and I think we've put ourselves in a situation where we could be very competitive in this matchup, and we're looking forward to it.
Last week had a big homecoming win, 35-6 over Northern Michigan. Talk about your performance as you look back on last week's game, and what were some of the things you did well against Northern Michigan?
Well, you know, as I get a chance to look at the different football teams in our conference right now and how they're playing against each other, you know, it's very competitive, and every weekend, you know, the people you're going to play could beat anybody, and Northern Michigan coming in here, you know, they've had their struggles here as of recently, but were very dominant at the beginning of the football season. So again, we knew it was a team that we would have our hands full. It was just nice to see our guys execute in all 3 phases of the game as we did. You know, obviously there's still things that we have to improve on, but our defense went out and bounced back from the week before where, you know, we gave up a little bit too much to Finley's offense, and we turned that around to becoming very stingy defensively and very dominant, you know, with that. Offensively, it's nice to see again another weekend where we were up over 500 yards offense, I think 550 something, and you know, again, we're spreading the ball out where there's 8 or 10 guys touching the football in the receiving end and also in the rushing end, and to be able to put the points on the board that we put up. So you know, each week we've just got to be able to adjust what we do to what we're going to see. Each week it's a different challenge. Everybody brings a little different scheme to things, and make sure our guys during the course of the week are able to make those adjustments and be able to perform at the level they need to on Saturday to get it done.
Talk a little bit about your offense as you look back over the last 5 games and the confidence that they've been playing with the exception of the first half at Finley. They've been playing pretty well offensively. Yeah,
we have. You know, and you know, it starts off, you know, with our quarterback. I think with Tom Snyder. You know, Tom has done a great job this year. He's really in his comfort zone. He manages our offense very well. He's able to make some of the checks and things like that to get ourselves into better situations. He knows when he's throwing the football, you know, where his best opportunities are, and he's not just throwing the ball. He's reading the defense and putting the ball in the situations where it's higher potential, you know, to be successful, and he's very good at that. In the past month, we've gone through some challenges with different people on the field. You know, we've had a number of injuries, and we've had a number of young people that have had to fill in at different spots, and you know, we're starting to work through some of that. You know, and you know, getting a few more of those guys back into the mix. But it's been good to see how they've kind of adjusted and been able to keep things rolling. You know, the exciting thing I see is, you know, our perimeter guys with Mike Ryan and Damian Miller and Will Frazier out on the outside, and you know, and our tight ends are doing a good job with Kevin Garand and Jace Hanneveld with blocking. You know, I mean, yeah, they're catching the ball well and things like that, and I think, you know, with all the practice we work on with that, I think that's an impressive thing. But even more impressive with all the perimeter running, you know, outside running that we do, how efficient these guys are getting on a defender and locking them down and being able to, you know, be challenging. You know, right now each one of these football games, when you look at it, we're about as balanced as you're going to get. That 550 some yards of offense is pretty well 50-50 each week, kind of split a little bit, here or there. So, and that's critical. It really keeps a defense kind of on their toes. The other thing that I'm excited about is that, we're able to run it at a pace that's being challenging for defenses, and so I think all of those things are helping us be successful right now.
You've got 4 games left here in the season, and as you look around the conference, it's still anybody's game in terms of being able to win the division and win the conference. So what will it take for your guys to be able to climb through that and win these last 4 games?
Well, first of all, it takes a little bit of luck, a little bit of luck in the fact that you want to keep people healthy and keep people playing and stuff like that, and hopefully the ball doesn't bounce wild on you a couple times. But the main factor is, though, it's your development as your football team goes through the course of the season. Luck only plays a small factor. You've got to keep getting better each week, and it makes me feel good about where we are right now with the way that we're executing as we're getting into this final stretch. All the teams ahead of us are tough football teams. It gets tougher and tougher, each week you get out there. But is your football team getting better and better? If you stay at the same level and don't make those improvements week by week, you're going to face challenges. We know this week is going to be a tough battle, and then the next week is not going to get any easier and things like that. But right now it's just focusing on winning one football game, and that's the one in front of us. And our guys have done a nice job as we've gone through the course of this football season to concentrate at it one at a time. And it's nice to be in a situation where you're going into the final stretch that you still have a shot at it, and we do. And realistically, looking at the way that we're playing football right now, we really do have a shot at it. I think we're playing at a high enough level that we can compete with anybody that we play against, and hopefully we can keep that going. And again, it goes back to that luck factor. You're 1 or 2 injuries away from all of a sudden now you're a whole different football team, or not a whole different football team, but you lose a little bit of that edge. So hopefully we'll be able to be okay in that end of it.
Coach, best of luck, and go out and get them.
Yeah, thank you.
This has been Ferris State Football on the Bulldog Sports Network.